Wah! Ya Gitz, welcome home. I'm Ash, and welcome to Brave Heroes Alike. This is AshQuest, and it's Wednesday, which means it's time to unbox something Warhammer or otherwise Orcish related. This is Warhammer Underworlds, one of the Grand Alliance boxes. This is the Destruction Warbands Gitz and Goliaths box. It contains 22 Citadel miniatures, war scrolls, and fighter cards for 4 warbands that were previously released throughout the game's history, and it brings those 4 warbands into the most current edition or season of Warhammer Underworlds. If you're new here and you have some experience with Underworlds, I welcome you. I am a dungeon crawler, and I approach this with the perspective of a dungeon crawler, somebody who wants to use and reuse stuff time and time again. So the season format and the ever-changing rules and legality of certain warbands in Warhammer Underworlds throughout its time hasn't really bothered me, because all of these games are meant to serve as games that you can play at your table, standalone from the tournament experience. They're all valid in their own right. But having said that, I know for serious tournament players, the format has been really off-putting, so that's just a disclaimer that I like to include with every one of these Underworld unboxings. Just for new people, I would like to examine the content, and I have already assembled the miniatures. Let us take everything out of the unceremonious box. Now, I mentioned in a recent video that I was going to do one more of these, and I wasn't sure if it would be my last, just due to the immense unenjoyment that I felt, the malenjoyment of putting the models together. I love monopose, and maybe it's because I am old, but I also have a lot of disdain for the sculptors at Games Workshop for making so many of their bits so spiky and pointy, and for providing me with so few very safe finger holds with which to push fit the models together without creating calluses that make it look like I shred on a guitar more than Tom Morello. These are currently the hands of an IT professional. I can't afford to get them all callousy. I won't be able to feel the keys underneath my fingers. I just had a panicked moment where, like, I imagined audience members being like, get a real job. These are the 4 warbands. We've got Zarbag's Gitz, we've got Hrothgorn's Mantrappers, we've got Rippa's Snarlfangs, and we've got Mollog's Mob. And I just want to say that these 4 specific warbands actually were the easiest, most fun, and most rewarding warbands that I have put together, all in the same box. I don't know if that's everybody else's experience with this particular box, but every time I put a model together, I felt awesome. And they're push-fit models. They're not difficult to put together by any means. It's not hard to find what number of the part in the sprue you have to cut out to assemble with the other part. It's just that everything was at a really good pace. I was able to get all of these guys together fairly quickly, and it always seemed like I was making good, even progress. And before I knew it, I had a whole warband assembled, and it was time to move on to the next one. We're going to take a close look at all of the members of each of these warbands. We'll look at their fighter cards, and then we'll read their lore one warband at a time from their war scrolls. On this channel, since I unbox dungeon crawlers and I tend to look at things like this from a dungeon crawler perspective, I don't just want to play Underworlds using these fighter cards and these warbands. I also want to incorporate these specific warbands into games like Warhammer Quest, heroquest, and generally just make up my own rules with them, because they're really cool miniatures and they have their own framework right here built into their cards and into their war scrolls. So we actually have a lot of war scrolls, which is pretty standard for Underworlds, but we only need 4 because there are 4 in English, and the rest of these are in all manner of other languages. They're double-sided, so they can cover even more languages. On the opposite side of the English, though, is not another language. It is some lore, and then other language lore for all of the supported languages here. It's kind of a strange way of doing things, but it seems to be working because Games Workshop keeps doing it. Anyway, this here is everything you get in the box, not counting the backgrounds, which are just 4 boards that I pulled randomly out of different seasons of Underworlds. Let's get to looking. First up, we're going to look at Zarbag's Gitz. The Grot Shaman Zarbag is an ambitious creature with a knack for getting out of trouble. His lackeys employ all kinds of sneaky tricks. Dibs, Stick It, and Redcap shoot from afar. Progdanetta lives up to his name. Drizgit herds the squids, Bonecracker and Gobblelook, and Snirk Sourtongue follows the time-honored tradition of downing fungal brews before spinning a giant iron ball. So he's a lunatic. Got it, I love that. To inspire them, you must gain your 3rd or subsequent glory point, and then you can inspire each friendly fighter. They have Squig Herder, Spinnin, and Volley. And we also have Slippery Gitz, I love it, Fungal Burst, Gang Up, and Make Some Noise. Use this in a power step. Push each friendly squig up to 2 hexes, and then you even get a little squig icon, which I love. You can only use this ability once per game. Like, just in case legally you don't know which ones the squigs are, we will classify them with an icon. I present to you the Miniature Spinner. It's pretty dusty, actually. It just sits unused. I never use it, and I should. I should use it a lot more. Let's dust off its power cells so that it can spin freely. We're Mavericks now. We are off-grid, baby. Except for the 4K 60s camera. Decorating my spinning plate with a bunch of goblins. I'm going to give this one special hand attention, though. This is our Drunken Master. This is our ball-swinging fanatic. He's awesome. This is like the most modern representation of our 3rd edition Talisman Goblin Fanatic Mini. And he does not disappoint. He might be my favorite out of this whole thing, to be honest. I know I've got some squig lovers in the audience, though. So here they are, and they sport the classic Warhammer Goblin look, but even more than that, our Rangers are almost 1-for-1, the exact same sculpt that Warhammer has always used for its Goblin Archers. Now, this is an exaggeration. Obviously, they are new sculpts, and in fact, I don't know how many other products these specific sculpts sneak into. I know that is something Games Workshop has done in the past with various Warhammer releases. Are these guys available on this sprue in any other Warhammer Age of Sigmar game? Are they in Warcry? Are they in Spearhead? Are they in anything? Somebody let me know. I would actually be really interested to know if this size of sprue is pretty standard for other Warhammer games, and if any models have been shared. I saw Xander's Truth Seekers in, I think, the newest Warcry box, and I was just really curious if it was the same sprue as the ones for Underworlds. So, enough of that. I really like the netting goblin here. He's awesome. It's like a Retiarius, but it's just the net. And yeah, these guys will work for my purposes in dungeon crawlers just fine. Would you believe if I told you there are 4 more miniatures we've got to put on here? This is the biggest warband I have seen. It is enormous, which kind of tells me, kind of implies that it's going to be full of weak members, but not overly weak. They probably just are going to have very specific ways of obtaining glory points. Well, what am I saying? This is a deck building game now. So honestly, it's going to be however you think the glory points should be earned by the way that you build the deck. Come on, focus. I want people to see your shiny whites, or well, your shiny greens. That could still be lore accurate. Anyway, our squig models, great. Wish there was more than just the 2 of them, but I guess it's probably normal in a standard skirmish to have only a couple of squig models. I really like the extra tough boss looking goblins in this pack. Love the dynamic poses. They're very subversive, unexpected. You put the model together and you're like, oh, it's just being held up by the 1 foot. Pretty standard experience for me now. This is Zarbag. He's the big boss. Whoops. He was the big boss. Rest in peace, Zarbag. I dropped you from a fall of 1 inch. It must be so fun to fight against somebody who was playing Zarbag's Gitz, because you could just take them out one at a time and watch your opponent kind of squirm. Numerous cards here. We have Gobbleluck, Bonecracker, Gobbleluck, why Gobbleluck? Redcap, Dibs, Stickit, true to the name, Progdanetta, Zarbag. I really like Zarbag. Snirk, Snirk is my favorite though. Snirk is amazing. And Drizgit. Drizgit's a little too armored for my tastes, but it'll be okay. And now we're going to look at the inspired sides of these cards, because I don't know who all finds this information any value whatsoever. Once they're inspired by meeting the special condition on their war scroll, these guys gain access to new stats and new abilities. Most of them for the better. but if you have to be selective, then you must select wisely. That's the biggest warband. That's the one that's going to take the most time to show. The one I'm really excited, the one I personally love, my favorite out of this box is Rippa's Snarlfangs. Rippa Narkbad hails from the lupine-riding Git mobs that harry the realm's plains and valleys. After launching an ill-judged leadership challenge, the Grot was forced to flee his tribe, and the duo Stabbit and Mean Eye were damned by association. Though there is no love lost between them, the trio still hunt together, chasing down prey atop their vicious Snarlfangs. They have Inspire after a power step. If a friendly fighter is equipped with 2 or more upgrades, inspire that fighter. And after a friendly fighter attacks again as a result of the Snarlfang's Jaws weapon ability, if that attack is successful, inspire that fighter. They have Snarlfang's Jaws, and they have Pack Tactics, and Smell Weakness, and Duck and Dive. So these guys are just unlikely friends. They're frenemies. Isn't that just goblins as a whole? Please do not clip goblins as a whole. Anyway, these guys are that's a really flattering place to start, Ash. Good job on that. Just a masterful video production skill. This is Mean Eye. These guys, wow. Focus. How ironic that you won't focus on Mean Eye. These guys cut an amazing silhouette. They look super threatening. They look really, really awesome. The detail on the wolves is so cool. The goblins riding atop, there's nothing lost on them. They're both the stars of this show. The wolves have obviously the big bases. They take up just 1 hex though, because I mean, look at that. But if you were going to place them on a dungeon grid with the 1-inch square standard, you'd want them to take up 2 spaces for sure. They are my favorites out of this box though. They look so dang neat. And I was able to put together this entire warband without looking at the instructions at all, because the wolves were really easy to suss out, and then their positioning on the bases was unique to each wolf. It was impossible to get that confused. There's a little bit of confusion with the goblins. I almost put the wrong head on the wrong goblin, and more than once, but I got that figured out pretty quick because it was like, this is awkward. His helmet's not fitting now. But they almost all did fit together. It's kind of weird. It kind of just lends itself to the goblins' frenemies theory that I have now. Oh, Rippa himself with his jaggedy sword. That's definitely not a sword I recognize. I don't think it's rooted in anything real. It is just a very jagged sword, so it's going to hurt a lot, and for a long time after when he strikes you with it. These guys are so cool. They're 10 out of 10. I have no notes. I have 1 note, actually. I wish they had named the wolves. I wish they'd actually given the wolves names, but I don't know if goblins name their wolves, their giant wolves, in the world of Warhammer. This is Mean Eye. Yes, Mean Eye. That's him. That's Mean Eye. I love the translations, by the way. On the card, it gives you an idea of what these guys are named in other languages, like Ojopocho. This is Stabbit, also Pixa, also Punyala. Stabbit in Japanese, though, Stabito. This is Rippa. Rippa, if you needed the stats, and if you need the inspired stats, this is Stabbit inspired, this is Mean Eye inspired, and this is Rippa inspired. We're going to move on to Mollog's Mob, which was a super fun one to put together because it was basically just 3 minis on one half of the sprue, and on the other half of the sprue, it was all Mollog. It was all him. Mollog's Mob. Mollog's only goal is to sleep away the long centuries. Unfortunately, realms-wide cataclysms keep conspiring to disturb the Troggoth, and he has a dreadful temper. Mollog is more than a match for most, even before one considers the array of bizarre troglodytic beasts following him. A shrieking bat squig, a cackling spiked shroom, and a lurking lithic stalag squig. Inspire your leader. After your leader is given a damage token, if they have 4 or more damage tokens, inspire each friendly fighter. So once you start really hammering down on Mollog, his associates will become inspired. They have Lurker, they have Troggoth Regeneration, they have Unnatural Hazards, Tagalong, and Infestation. Even if one of Mollog's critters is killed, another pops up to take its place. Use this in a power step, pick a slain friendly minion, raise that fighter, place them in an empty starting hex, and then give them a charge token. You can only use this ability once per game. This is kind of invalidating the lore statement, though. Even if one of Mollog's critters is killed, another pops up to take his place. While it's technically correct, which is the best kind of correct, it gives the implication that it happens multiple times and it only happens one time. When you're going to fight Mollog and somebody tells you this, you're like, oh no, I won't be able to kill his minions because they'll just keep popping up. And it's like, no, it only happens once per game, ever. So while I loved putting these guys together, they're not my favorite sculpts by far. They're a bit too vague. They're a little weird. They're shrimpy. They're hard to make out. The details are strange. The idea of the bat squig is really cool. Really cool. Bat squig. Focus. Bats. You know what? Never mind. I'll just come back here and just scale back. Nope. That's not cool either. All right. We'll suffer in blurriness, which is what Mollog would want us to do. Oh, now you're perfect. Now you're absolutely perfect. Nice. Okay, well, this is Mollog's mob, sans Mollog, which we will be showing him shortly, and he's going to have all the same focusing issues because he's massive. He's all over the place. Mushroom growth all over this Trogoth. Look at him. He came in a bunch of pieces, but a lot of them were really big. They all had to be flat on the sprue, so just imagine the logic of that, and you've got Mollog. You'll see the places where I cut him off the sprue. I'm not trying to enter any model championships here, but some of these spots are a little more egregious than others, so I may try to maybe sand those down or otherwise make them harder to see. This guy's enormous though. I need to show you him next to a heroquest figure. I don't have one. I don't have a heroquest figure. I've got an altar quest figure though, and I can show you him next to her. He's massive. It's still not really selling how big he is. That's selling it. That's selling how big he is. He's enormous. It's awesome. It's like a regular squig next to this guy. That doesn't sell it. That sells it. That's what I am seeing. This is how my eyes feel looking at these two together. All right, that's enough of that. This simping for Mollog has gone on long enough. We have the bat squig. We have the spite shroom. Okay, so now that I see the painted example of the spite shroom, I love it. I love this creature. The bat squig is cool. Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. But the spite shroom is where it's at. And then the stalag squig, which is the dumbest concept. It's so stupid. That's so dumb. I mean, I guess I still love it anyway, but geez. It's stalagmita. Is it just stalagmite? And then you've got Mollog himself, who's got the impressive stats that you might expect Mollog to have. The stalag squig, by the way, does not move. It has 0. Does not move. Cannot move. We have inspired versions of these guys. If you are interested, inspired bat squig, inspired spite shroom, inspired stalag squid, still cannot move. Still is it just a stalagmite with teeth, and inspired Mollog, as if you needed him to be inspired. We move on now to our final warband. There are echoes of black pirates, Blackbeard, black powders, buccaneers, because it's basically an ogre with animals and goblins doing its bidding. Actually, they're called grots. So just shut up. Hrothgorn's Mantrappers has Inspire. After an enemy fighter is slain by a melee attack made by your leader, inspire each friendly fighter. Everwinter Ambush, Ravenous Traps, more traps, and surprising competence. Hrothgorn Mantrapper, oh that's his name, is always thinking about where his next meal will come from. He's an ogre, yes. Having ranged far from their Maul tribe, the ogre and his pet Frostsaber, Thrafnir, delve into dark crannies to flush out interesting snacks. The Noblars Lugget, Thwack, Quiv, and Bushwhacker earn their keep however they can, usually by setting spiteful traps to maim those morsels that try to run. So he's like Andrew Zimmern. I want to see that show now. Bizarre Foods with Hrothgar Mantrapper. Here are our 4 goblins, but Ash, there are only 3 models. Yes, you'll see very soon. Love the concept, by the way, of these underlings, these grots running around with these traps. And there you have it, a goblin standing on another goblin's shoulders. But they're Noblars, just so we're clear on what kind of goblin they are. Noblars. Yeah, that's one of my favorite sculpts. This guy, unfortunately, he had a bit of an accident. He did not have a good way of getting push fit into his base with very little leverage. And I would love to know for anybody who also has this set, did his ankle break? Did his ankle break cleanly, snap off when you were trying to push him in? Because gently would not work, and a little bit of force resulted in a snap. This isn't my first rodeo, so like no advice is needed on how to put these guys together. This guy really seemed like a freak accident. No angle was working, and when I finally got a direction that was making him go into the base, chink, snap, right off. Well, some glue, and he's not good as new, but some, I guess, paint someday, maybe, in your wildest dreams, will fix that. We have the saber. Just the saber. This is Thrafnir. It's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. He is about the size of the great wolves that Rippa's Snarlfangs have. This is interesting to me. He looks like he honestly wouldn't be more threatening than the wolves, but he's not really in like a dynamic attack pose or anything like that. No, the most threatening thing out of this entire box is this trap. There it is. It's just a freaking trap. It's just a freaking... Does it even have a card? It does not have its own card. It's freaking just a trap. It's just a trap. I love this, by the way. Like, I don't even want to... I'm just going to spoil this for you. I've got this idea where it's like, well, a HeroQuest? I'm going to have all these models, on the HeroQuest board. And I'm going to... Whoops. It's tradition. I'm going to pull this guy out. And... yeah, this is literally going to be a trap on the board. And wouldn't it be hilarious? I chuckle to myself as I imagine this. So you put this down once the dwarf finds it or whatever, and your hero panda's like, oh, just won't step on that space. We know where the trap is. And then when it's your turn as Zargon, you roll the movement dice and you have it run after them. This is Hrothgorn. He is the star of this show. This is basically Andrew Zimmern with a giant crossbow that also has a loaded trap on it. I'm not sure if... it looks like that's just a way for it to lock the arrow in place. Oh, no, the trap is on the arrow. The trap is actually on the great arrow that he's about to fire. Or you could call this a bolt, but it's an arrow. It's fletched and everything. So it's just a weird monstrosity of a weapon. It's constructed like a crossbow, but it takes these arrows, and the arrows can have these ridiculous traps on them. I put them together, and I didn't really notice that that's how that was supposed to be. But like when that arrow hits its target, that trap is going to spring, I guess. Maybe it could spring. There's actually a chain attached to it. So where does the chain go? It's like to the end of the bow. I'm actually not sure. Somebody have to tell me if there's like additional lore. Make sure when you point it out to me, you're like, it's obvious. Moving on to the cards, we've got Luggett and Thwack. We've got Hrothgorn, titular character. We've got Thrafnir. We've got Quiv. We've got Bushwhacker. And that's that. And then we have their inspired forms. Inspired Luggett and Thwack, inspired Hrothgorn, inspired Thrafnir, inspired Quiv, and inspired Bushwhacker. And I'm here to tell you, this guy absolutely got hosed. It's unfair. It needs its own card, needs its own inspired. Like, how do you inspire a trap? I don't know. That's up to the goblins and ogres to figure it out. But he needs his own. Now, I realize he's got its own mechanics. It's got its own way to be put on the board. I'm sure that's baked right into this card here, right? Yeah, Ravenous Traps will do it. And so will more traps. And Surprising Competence will actually move the trap. So that's just really cool. That's the kind of thing I like to see. That's the inventiveness that I look forward to learning about and kind of applying to my own mechanics that I like thinking about and making up for games. That is Gitz and Goliaths, and I really like this set more than I thought I would. I thought I was just going to like it for Rippa's Snarlfangs and like it because it was going to help me complete my overall collection. I do have a 100% completion collection goal for the Warbands of Underworlds, and if I can get all of the Rivals decks and stuff, that might be a bonus, but I'm honestly not interested in the slightest in the deck building aspect of this game. I don't know if it's extremely lazy or if it actually is just genius and requires more work on the designers of the game's part to design decks that are compatible with multiple warbands without breaking anything, but I honestly think that it was much better designed to have each Rivals deck constructed specifically for its own warband, like make it proprietary. And then make it broken only if people agree to swap Rivals decks out in a format like, I don't know, Nemesis or something. You'll have to school me in the comments below, and I hope you do. All of the sass has left my body. I'm now open to criticism and just general insults. Your mom dresses you funny, Ash. It's all right. If that's the best you can do, then, well, you're my people, because that was a very 90s insult. All right, I look forward to seeing you in the next exciting adventure, but thank you so much for your kind attention, brave heroes. I bid you a fantastic rest of your day, and a farewell for now. Oh, I forgot to zoom my camera out. That's actually the frame that we're in. Bye.